Ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, weavers and listeners all, welcome to another episode of Occupied with Stardust and Dragons, where we discuss the lore, character developments, the story thus far, and occasionally have the cast on to talk about themselves and their character. But today, again, is not that day, because we don't have a cast member, because it's just us. You're stuck with us. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome to
Hello.
the Dome.
So we are on episode 8.
Yes. Which was an interesting episode. Yes.
8. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Touche.
There you go. You got it. We're in it.
Brain, thinking, brain.
It's Friday.
Don't look
tired.
confused. Don't look confused. Just go with it.
I'm tired.
Just go with it.
Anyway,
You missed all this discussion because you wanted to be 20 minutes late.
Yes.
Just go with it.
So for the listeners,
First of all, you said 9 o'clock, so I had things I was doing, and I got up
What was his
early
name?
for you all. No, his name isn't anything.
Damn, I think I broke fucking Illadine.
I wish there was a name, but no.
all right,
Unfortunately,
bringing it back.
Bring it back in.
Reel it back in. For the listeners, there is a secret episode that may or may not be launched on Speakeasy Productions Patreon at a later date. We don't know exactly when they're going to post it, but the reason why everyone is confused on this podcast at the moment is because their session 8 is a secret episode that they did, and so we listened to episode 9, which was put into 2 parts, so it's 9 and 10, but for you it's 8 and 9. So there you go. So there's the example or the explanation, and we're done.
So yes, episode 8.
Yeah. It was an interesting episode for sure.
It was. I liked it. It kind of I expected a lot more to happen.
Yeah. Well,
But-
it was a classic dungeon crawl. I mean,
Yeah,
it
really
was
was.
combat.
Yeah,
It was combat. And combat takes a billion years.
They
especially when
actually
it's a-
did a pretty good job cutting it up, though,
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
for editing it down. But yeah, just so you know, listeners, that probably took 2 hours
Oh yeah.
just to do the
Two?
combat. Yeah,
Oh, for them to put the
that
and for them
chase
to put the
alone was
noise.
probably 2 hours.
yeah. So
Those
yeah,
rolls were terrible.
Yeah.
But it starts out with them entering the catacombs. You know, they have to go in. They're trying to get this key from this guy.
Yeah.
That's prototypical dungeon crawl. It's a side quest. It's a thing that always, you come across. It's nothing new. It's a common trope.
They go deeper in, and then they try to stealth they attempted
Yeah.
to stealth the whole time. But again, as Pup said, their rolls were terrible.
The rolls
Yes,
were
they
absolute
were.
trash.
Which happens.
They tried to shoot a goblin and missed terribly.
Brendan
No,
shot
no,
right between
no.
the two.
They got
it
one.
That was no.
the
They
best
got
part
one
was
of them.
he was like, he missed once, never tried to hide again, never tried to bring it back into stealth, was just like balls to the wall, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, we're throwing away the quiet thing, let's go.
Yeah. Hey team,
Oh my God.
we're going loud. That's what I'm hearing. We're going loud.
That was literally it. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody else tried to hide.
Yeah. Constant was in one of the sarcophagi.
Yeah,
Lyrax was too, but he had his open so that he could move around.
yeah.
And so he was like kind of giving I guess logistics or surveillance to Brendan and Flip, who were it kept going back and forth on if they were inside a sarcophagi or behind a sarcophagi.
Yeah.
It went back and forth. They also went back and forth on their name, which was kind of funny. But
and Flip tends to have like the best little one-liners in there,
yeah,
because he said most often the smallest people have the largest problems.
yes.
But yeah, and I think Flip and Brendan ended up in the same sarcophagus, and I mean it was just a cluster. It was I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved every second of
It
it.
was a
Which
natural
was funny
disaster,
because
and it was great.
Brandon ended up telling them, like, you guys didn't have to attack these goblins. Like, they were walking out the room.
Yeah.
They were like, nah, we're gonna kill the goblins.
But when they walked in, they saw they heard the goblins first.
Mm-hmm.
Then they tried to
Nobody
hide.
speaks Goblin.
None of them speak Goblin.
Not
None
a
of them
lick.
speak Goblin.
So they couldn't figure that out. Nobody had a spell
Yeah.
learn languages, so they couldn't do that either. So they were walking out there throwing slave corpses into coffins, into
Yeah.
the sarcophagus that were in there, because there's a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Brandon just
And then
shoots.
I don't know if they, like, it was jokingly that Lyrax's canon now is that he just, like, basically hates goblins because they, like, got rid of all the goblins on his planet. And then, like, at the end of this little debacle, when the second goblin gets murked, it's Lyrax that, like, rapier stabs him through the neck. And
Yeah.
you know, that's a pretty bloody kill, and he was like, yeah, I'm just kind of used to it, you know.
It's fine. It's fine when Lyrax does it. When Lyrax genocides a whole race on
didn't-
his
It
planet.
wasn't
he did
just
not-
Lyrax, though.
Yes, he didn't plan himself to take out every one of them like you were.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're not going to go down that road. We've already done this.
Yeah. Shameless
And I
plug
have
for
to
our normal
admit-
podcast.
Yes.
Eyebrows,
Yes.
eyebrows.
That's This Dungeon is Occupied podcast.
Throw a banner
I
in the.
I really have to admit, though, when Max describes Lyrax's attacks, the descriptors are always so good.
Yeah.
She is very good at descripting what's going on, what Lyrax is doing.
Right.
Mhm.
And it just
Descripting.
never, hey, shush. It never fails. Never fails. So,
No, I think that they're all really, like, they're uncannily good at describing what's going on. Like, even when Brendan missed, and, you know, he, instead of just going, oh, I missed, Christian, the person who plays Brendan, said, oh, you know, the crossbow bolt goes through between the two heads of the goblins and skitters on the ground, and then he dropped down to try and reload his crossbow, but because he rolled so terribly in the initiative, he was like, okay, apparently my crossbow broke and I'm trying to duct tape this piece of shit together. And then
And it was-
Flip with his
longbow?
compound. Well, it was like a
it's a
compound
compact longbow.
yeah, that's bigger than he is, but it
Yes.
folds in 3 pieces, is what I think was explained.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's kind of cool. Like a little.
That
is
cool.
Like a switch.
It works. Yeah.
It's a switch longbow.
Well, it's like one of the ones that one Marvel character used in that one Marvel movie.
Oh
We're not
yeah,
going to mess with
Oh,
trademarks.
so specific.
yeah.
yeah.
That bullseye. Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
That one. That one character.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. That one.
I don't know what character you're talking about.
yeah, you
Couldn't
don't.
possibly.
And then, so Flip, like, one shots a goblin, just
Yes.
demolishes them.
I mean,
and
and
then-
he didn't even roll a nat 20. He was like,
No.
oh, 22.
Yeah.
That's not nat 20. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, which reminds me, there were so many nat 20s at that game.
There really were.
There were.
And- Like nat,
But none of
nat
them were
ones and
Brendan.
dirty ones. Yeah, none of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, even on the stealth roll, constant rolled at the nat 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constant
was like,
wasn't
huh?
a person anymore.
And
She was just
and Lyrax got a
background.
16.
Yeah. The stealthy kitty.
The stealthy one,
Yeah.
the pretty kitty himself, rolled a 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Lyrax misses,
Yeah.
and it was a sneak attack, and he missed.
Mhm. Yeah.
Had one job.
then they did
One
the
job.
initiative rolls, and they all rolled for crap again.
They absolutely botched
And then the
it.
goblins just ran, screaming
Yeah.
out of the room.
Which was a mix of the Thornberries and the Tasmanian Devil. I
Yeah.
have to say it. Which was great.
And then-
I don't know if that was an edit that they put in or if that was Brandon doing the noise, but it was a good noise. It was perfect.
And then that's when everybody just decides that stealth is now over.
No, yeah, literally, Brandon
going
was
loud.
like, go loud, go loud.
They tried to catch him. They tried to hit him. They didn't do it until they got out of the room. and then Lyrax caught him and skewered him. But
Yeah.
because their initiative rolls are so bad
Yeah.
that the goblin got to go first.
Jeez.
And Constance was just freaking out.
Yeah.
As
She was-
per
She was
usual.
in shock the whole time. Yeah.
Raina does so good at that. She sees all this stuff happen, and she just says, Constance is literally banging her head on the wall.
Yeah.
But this is where it starts to get a little steampunky,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good way to describe it. Steam coming up through grates in the floor,
Mhm.
and
See what
it's
you did there?
obscuring the vision. And what? I didn't do
I mean-
Punk.
And they go from a room with sarcophagus to a room with a great big boiler in it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat.
A boiler
Uh,
with eyes, wasn't it?
Well, there was an old decrepit boiler with the, I like the way
Oh, that's
Brandon
right, yeah.
described it, with the pipes snaking across the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And there was they hear an old industrial robot, 7 foot tall with yellow lights for eyes.
Yeah.
And they tried to stealth check again,
And they all made it except
except for Flip.
Except for.
Oh man, but yeah, it was.
And I love-
It's always one.
Yeah, I loved Lyrax though, because they, the yellow eyes turned red when they see Flip, and Lyrax was like, "Oh, he likes you." It just like, picks him up.
Oh yeah, and then what was it? Christian wanted Brandon to do a technology check,
Yeah.
and Brandon actually said no,
Mhm.
which I thought was pretty cool because,
Sometimes
as
you
we've
just
talked
gotta
about
say
before,
no.
you gotta say no sometimes.
Yep.
So, but Flip was the first one to got to roll initiative, and Flip got taken away.
Yeah, he got picked up.
As he-
Literally.
as we knew he would.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then
He got
proceeded
picked up.
to not have the bones. Just didn't have the
Could
bones
not-
for that one.
Nope. Couldn't break out. How many rounds could not break out? And
He
his
got
rolls
3
were not
rounds.
good.
He
His
had
rolls
3
were
attempts.
not good.
Yeah, I think his first roll was a 4. He was like, just don't have the bones, Cap.
And Lyrax kept missing, and
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
then the mech
God.
just like started walking. Just
away.
it
Yeah.
it didn't care about anything else. It was like,
Nope.
I'm gonna go deliver this person.
Literally that. Yep.
Yep, it was like, and peace.
Yeah. Constant only has a walking speed of 25 because she's a
Yeah.
dwarf, and this thing's moving at 30. So you just imagine this thing like.
She just falling behind like Edna from The Incredibles.
No, not Edna. Fuck.
No capes.
No. Oh no. That's 2 Disney references in this episode.
Yeah, we'll have to get that out because we don't want to get sued.
Hey,
Um,
I mean,
please.
Stardust and Dragons references it.
So we're good.
Yeah, we're fine. We'll just blame them.
And and it just cracks me up because Raina does so good with Constant in her mind on what she wants her to do and
Mhm.
playing towards her character. Constant is just perplexed and frustrated because plan A fell through.
Yeah.
And she's a planner. So it's like whenever
Mhm.
a plan fails, she's like, I don't know why it failed. Why did it fail?
And not only that,
and-
she wants to come up with a new plan, and everybody else is like, adapt and overcome. Let's go.
Yep. Let's go.
Literally that. We gotta go. We gotta go. Where are we going? Don't worry about it. Just go.
Just go. And we got to see Stardust used for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
insane.
so exciting.
Yeah.
And
Percentile
I
on
think-
the wild magic.
I think what to me, like, it just emphasized like how close Brandon and Flip are.
Well, and not only that, but like how close Brendan is to just poofing at any given point, because he uses Stardust like canonically a lot.
Yeah.
Like we haven't seen it, but canonically he uses it quite often. And like when they do the roll and Brandon was like, "You're safe for now." And you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay."
There's that When is that going to be say, okay, this is what happens?
Yeah. As soon as we
But
hear
he-
Brandon
he-
say, "Okay, so,"
He uses it to get double movement so he can catch up, obviously.
Mhm.
Great description
Yes.
by Christian.
He cast Expedient Retreat, didn't he?
Yeah.
yes,
Which can't be upcast. So I was like,
No.
He just got like double
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
got
double speed
movement.
or
Yeah.
double movement.
Yeah. He described it like the Flash trail of gold behind him,
hmm
which, he's actually only moving like 50 feet a second. So for 50 feet a turn every 6 seconds. So it's
Isn't
not
that
that
Lyrax?
fast.
yeah,
It's just like,
Yeah.
it's like a quick walk to most people that have legs longer than 2 inches.
I feel offended. I feel attacked.
You
It's
should.
okay, short
You-
king.
It's
all right.
It's okay. Here's your crown. Oh wait, I just have to bend over really quick. Give me 1 second.
Oh man.
Shout out to
Mm.
Short Kings.
Short,
Yeah.
short Kings rise. Let's get our bar stools.
So
Jesus.
Brandon follows Flip. Lyrax, of course, gonna try to use the stealth sneak
Mhm.
attack. Brendan sinks Chunk after Flip. Flip fails another strength check.
Yeah.
Because he just didn't have the bones.
No
And he rolls a perception. Notices there's a pressure release valve kind of like halfway down the back.
hmm
Still too tall for anybody but Lyrax to get to without climbing up the machine.
Yeah.
Lyrax is just gathering all these short people like Oompa Loompas. Just like,
Like fucking Oompa Loompas. I cannot.
No.
Constant still just following.
Yeah.
I can't keep up.
Oh, and she fails any kind of rolls when she's trying to figure things out because
Yeah.
everybody's rolled this one were just trash. But Constant does something that was a little different. She started catching up and climbed up the robot.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Well,
like that. I thought it
I
was
can't keep up with it, so I'm just gonna get on it.
Yep. easy.
Hey,
And
it
she
makes
figures
sense.
out that it's actually rather easy.
Which I feel
Yeah.
like that might come into play later with future technologies that we see, because Brandon was very specific about saying you find it easy to climb, which is not something necessary to say. So I don't.
Yeah.
That might come into play.
The little
You never
subtle
know.
things.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that was going on, they were yelling back and forth, which you let your players do. Talking doesn't take any effort.
Yeah.
Especially with them, they have little things in their ears and they can actually talk back and forth.
Which is great because that just adds to the role play, which is
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
majority of this show.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I really like how they change the audio when they say like, "Oh, I'm gonna use it right now," and then
Yeah.
it turns into like a little radio thing. I'm like, oh hell yeah.
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 Yeah. And I just loved it because Brandon's sitting there and he's keeping everything together, which is great.
Mhm.
Kudos for being a good DM on that one.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's just complete chaos. He's like, everything's just complete chaos. So
I mean, on that technology point where he said it was easy to climb, it could be the type of dwarf he is.
that could be.
He could be a dwarf.
No.
A dwarf.
What really shocked me on the next part
Mhm.
was when Brandon was getting ahead. He wanted to get ahead of the robot.
Yeah. By like 70 feet or something.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he gets ahead of him, and he almost vomits at the stench, which I liked.
Yeah.
And then they start going. Brandon goes on his description of the room he's in, and it was like you were there.
Yeah.
I loved it. The stainless steel tables with the baskets next to them to throw parts in, and blood all over the floors.
Yeah.
Chains hanging from the ceilings with instruments of torture and interrogation. Everything neatly polished.
hmm
That's hot.
And of course, with the intercom thing, Brendan warns everybody.
Yeah.
And he's like, stop that thing. He hears something in the darkness, and Brandon freaks out, and it's some slaves, some people that were used in the working of the mine.
hmm
Which was really creepy at the beginning. I was like, I wonder what it is because it sounded creepy. I was like, oh no.
You got excited,
little-
didn't you?
Yeah, I was
You
like
got-
tiny
you got a little
monsters.
excited.
And then
A
it was
little
just
excited,
slaves.
got ghoulies. He's
Little
like, it's got ghoulies.
little
It's got
scarouse.
ghoulies.
Oh, it's
Get around.
cucuis,
I
cucuis.
was like, oh, I
He's
was
like,
like,
oh, this is
the
hot.
hair's standing up on my back. Oh no.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Oh, good lord. And that's when he finds them, he frees them because
Yeah, of
yes.
course.
They're like, don't hurt us, and he uses the lantern, reveals them, and he has a magical tinkering coin that he was
Mhm.
able to cast light off, which is kind of cool. Something that as artificers, little things like that are handy as hell, and
Yeah.
he definitely knows how to use it because he uses all of them.
And I do like the fact that like everyone on the cast, they use their characters in really interesting ways.
Mhm.
And like some of the artificer stuff, when you really think about it, it's very niche on some of the artificer stuff. And Christian's just like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna use my Tinker's coin, and he's got chunk and all that. So it's kind of cool to see the I guess quote unquote standard D&D characters being used to their fullest in an RP
Yes.
setting.
Yeah, definitely. You don't see it a lot. You have to actually kind of study the
Mhm.
class and the character that you want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to make them your own. So, and I think the cast have done an extremely good job on all points as far as exploring their classes and coming up with unique ways to use them.
Exactly.
So, let's see. He goes through the description of the slaves. We're not going to get into all that, but shoots the chains, frees them,
Mhm.
tells them to go out. There's children there.
It's a nat 20.
Yeah,
Oh, finally
Yeah.
his rolls improve.
when he's shooting an inanimate object
Yeah. Mhm.
on a wall.
But I mean, to be fair, that was probably a really important role, because if he had nat 1, he might have accidentally executed
Oh.
somebody.
If it was my game, he would have executed somebody. So.
Yeah.
And then he switches over to the rest of them, trying to stop this apparently unstoppable robot just walking.
Yeah.
Not attacking him.
Nope. 7-foot tall mech that just, y'all are too short. Just can't do it.
And the robot's holding Flip and not letting him go.
Yeah.
And Flip's like, I can't break free.
Yeah.
And he fails for the third time.
Yep.
And I think he even says on the intercoms, he's like, I think I'll just hang out here.
Yeah, he did.
He was so frustrated with it. And then Lyrax jams a rapier to the robot, rolls a nat 20,
Mm-hmm.
and
Then
using smite, divine smite.
Yeah.
He went all
Hits
out.
for
I think
like
it was like 50.
50 something.
55
like,
damage.
Yeah. It was sick.
Brandon slipped on that. He said you did 55 out of 60 with one blow.
Yeah.
It drops Flip. Flip has to do a dex saving throw. Gets a nat 20.
What did he say? He's like, yeah, I'm just there with my hands in my pocket.
And then Constant does a nat saving throw and rolls a nat 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
She took like 8 damage.
Yeah, 9. Yeah. Good sound effects. They were really loud.
Yeah.
They were.
Really loud.
Yeah.
I was listening into my in my truck, and I had it connected to the Bluetooth. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had it turned up way too loud.
Yeah. Then when Brendan is ushering the slaves out, he does a persuasion to inspire to go and rebuild their lives and stuff like that and be good. And he rolls a nat 20.
Yeah.
There were so many nat 20s in this game.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, damn.
None of them were like for stuff that could help them. They were all like
Saving
things
throws and
saving
stealth.
throws and like
Yeah.
All
Just
people
ability
RP
checks.
rolls.
Like, yeah.
RP
just RP
rolls.
stuff. Yeah.
It was hilarious. And that's when they go into they hear him banging on a door on the other side of that big room. They go in, of course, everything's nasty and shiny but sick and kind of twisted.
Yeah.
Brandon thinks the bad guy's on the other side of that door, and then the banging stops. And this is where he does a really good job of setting the mood
Mm-hmm.
as the episode's coming to a close. He says darkness begins to envelop the room, starts around the edge of the room, then the lights, as it slowly comes in, the lights get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And the torches get dimmer too. And they had to do perception checks with advantage. Things went silent. The banging it didn't turn off completely. It seemed like it just got muffled.
Yeah.
And then within the darkness, they hear a heartbeat, and then they hear that really super creepy voice that they did. What was it? Fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat for the gloom.
Fresh meat for the gloom.
And which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
The gloom part of it, I thought that was really cool. So,
and they're going into this with Brendan having like 26 hit points taken off him.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Getting stabbed.
Not yet. He's getting ready. He just gets stabbed next, just out of nowhere. Didn't even get him a chance to try to, because their perception checks were all so bad.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, he got stabbed. Got 24 points just smacked right there. And then of course, Brennan has to kind of leave it with the cannon appearing next to him, and he's like, ready for a fight. And of course, that's where they end the episode.
That's it.
That was it. That
I
was a
can't
really
wait to see what the boss fight looks like.
It was a really good episode. I liked it. It definitely went quick.
It felt like it did, yeah. But it wasn't. It was an hour and some change. So
yeah, it's an hour and 30-some minutes. I mean, but it really felt like it went quick because everything was very chaotic, and and in my mind, that makes it fun because I like chaos.
Yeah,
but it does make you think. Like if the episode was an hour and a half, imagine how many rolls, how much like other RP that you didn't get.
Oh, and I mean, we know from experience, this was like a 4 to 6 hour session, most likely, to get all of that content in. And I know that they plan on releasing unedited in the Patreon.
Yeah.
They haven't yet. I'm a member of Patreon,
but that's the plan.
That is the plan. And I'm really interested to listen to the unedited versions because I feel like, okay, it's 4 hours, but I mean, I used to listen to Critical Role, so I mean, I'm used to 4 hours, it's fine. But hearing the just the chaos of everything going on and like all of the natural reactions,
Yeah, you knew there was a lot of background conversation that we didn't get in the episode.
Yeah,
that was happening during the session.
Yeah, and again, as always, kudos to the editors because I mean they made a solid episode. It was smooth.
Hard to do.
It really is. We know.
Yes.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, you don't. You're
gonna learn.
Oh, I know. I
All
got to hear about it.
All y'all are gonna learn because
he gets to hear about it because he eats potato chips on the recording without muting.
Yep, that's precisely.
And he vapes.
Anyway,
and
speaking of the Patreon, though, patreon.com/speakeasy productions is the Stardust and Dragons Patreon. Right over wrong shoulder, right over this shoulder here, right there. Speakeasy Productions, Stardust and Dragons. Yeah, see, it's weird. All right, here, there we go, right there. And then for ours, which you can listen to a day after their episode airs, if you are a member of our Patreon, it is /this dungeon is occupied, and we release one day later, and then it goes public the week after. So if you're listening to this a week after, what the hell are you doing? It's $5,
loser.
I would never mock you. I would never hit low. So unlike these people.
Put crickets in here.
Yeah, I will.
Crickets.
Yeah, I will. But it's $5 on either side. $5 for the Speakeasy Productions. You get their bonus content, all of the episodes a little bit early, and then when they do release the unedited versions, you will get that as well. Our episodes are going to be showing up on their Patreon, but they're already on our Patreon early for $5 as well. And if you want and you check out our regular podcast and you want to do some more, we have plenty of other tiers with some extra bonus content like NPCs of the week and towns of the month and things like that.
Yep.
So without further ado, remember to check your dungeons, because this dungeon is occupied with Stardust and Dragons.